All right, so moving on to the next segment, I'll be sharing my UFC 324 fight card and fight preview. So in this segment, I'll be going over 3 fights on the main card for the UFC 324 card. Now, those that watch NFL games on Thanksgiving, when we were watching the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs game, Dana White came with an announcement on halftime to give us a preview, spill the tea rather, give us a preview for the UFC 324 card. This will be the first UFC card on the Paramount Plus deal that the UFC is locked in for the next 6 to 7 years with Paramount Plus. So, the main event of the UFC 324 card, we will see Justin Gaethje fight Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight championship. Now, first and foremost, I want to give Ilia Topuria all the credit in the world for coming out and announcing before the UFC 324 card was announced. He tweeted on Twitter and basically said he will not be on the first Paramount Plus fight card, saying he has to deal with some family business, will not be seen in the UFC until the spring or the midway point of 2026. So I hope everything goes well for Ilia Topuria as he's stepping aside to handle family business, take care of his children, for what's going on outside the octagon. He still is the lightweight champion, so I hope Ilia Topuria comes back stronger and comes back focused when he returns in 2026. But Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim lightweight championship. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I do have a question. Do rankings matter? How is Arman Tsarukyan, the number 1 ranked contender at lightweight, not in position to challenge for the interim lightweight championship while Ilia Topuria is away attending to family business? He is the number 1 ranked contender in this lightweight division. He defeated Charles Oliveira in 2024 on the UFC 300 card. Yes, he was suspended. And yes, he did have to pull out of the card earlier in the year against Islam Makhachev due to an injury. But Dana White, you cannot freeze this man because he's defeated Charles Oliveira and just made Dan Hooker submit at the UFC fight Qatar card. So how is this man not in position to fight for the interim lightweight championship? Because you're having Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje fight for the interim title with the winner getting an immediate shot against Ilia Topuria later on in 2026. That seems a little bit weird to me. If anything, you could have had these two fighters fight each other with not huge implications like the interim lightweight championship being on the line here. Because if anything, the interim title fight that you should have had at lightweight should have been Arman Tsarukyan versus Charles Oliveira. You should have ran that rematch back. Charles Oliveira just did win his previous fight, and Arman Tsarukyan just defeated Charles Oliveira and Dan Hooker. You could have had that for the interim title. A lot of people really thought that fight could have went either way if that went 5 rounds instead of 3 rounds. I think that would have been a better way to claim and crown an interim champion rather than having Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett fight each other. You just froze out Arman Tsarukyan out of the lightweight division, because what the hell is he supposed to do when the division is completely occupied right now? There's nothing for him right now. What direction is he supposed to go in? You look at the landscape of lightweight. Yes, Ilia Topuria. I'm a big fan of him now. I hope everything goes well again for his family. So I don't think he deserves to be stripped, and I think having an interim fight for the interim lightweight title is an appropriate way to go. But where the hell does he go? Because at this point, the next big fight that we're going to see at lightweight at some point before probably April is going to be Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway for the BMF title. Where is Arman Tsarukyan fitting in these plans? Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett, the winner is getting a title shot. You mean to tell me the loser is going to fight Arman Tsarukyan next at some point in 2026? I'm not buying that. I think that's very wrong for Dana White, the UFC executives, to freeze out Arman Tsarukyan, the number 1 ranked contender at this division, for really no reason. He got suspended. He served a suspension. You can't do anything if a fighter pulls out of a fight for being injured. I understand it was 48 hours, less than 48 hours when he was supposed to fight Islam back in January. You can't do anything about it. So what's worse, to punish him? I don't think that's right. But anyway, Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett could be an interesting fight for the interim lightweight title. I mean, styles do make fights. But I'm trying so hard not to be unbiased here, but I don't know how Paddy Pimblett has found his way into getting this opportunity for an interim title shot. He has not defeated anybody. Well, he's defeated some big names, Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler. But all these guys are under or over 30 years of age, in his late 30s, and you're feeding Justin Gaethje a fighter that's in his late 30s. So when are we gonna see Paddy Pimblett tested against an elite fighter? I'm not saying Justin Gaethje's not elite at this point, but he ain't the same Justin Gaethje that we seen years ago. Mileage has caught up to Justin Gaethje at this point. We're going to see what happens, but I think Paddy Pimblett, low-key, has been protected by the UFC executives pretty well, because in his last 4 fights now, he's going to be in the octagon with guys that are nearly older than him by double his age, in their late 30s. So, hey, I think the UFC, they know what they're doing. A pretty good matchmaker by Paddy Pimblett. But at the same sense, I did enjoy Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett going back and forth with each other in the octagon when Joe Rogan was interviewing Ilia Topuria when he defeated Charles Oliveira earlier in the year for the vacant lightweight championship. So we'll see what happens, but I think Arman Tsarukyan definitely got the bad deal out of all this. On the co-main event, let's focus on the woman here. Kayla Harrison will be defending her bantamweight championship against the GOAT, Amanda Nunes, in the co-main event of UFC 324. This honestly should be main eventing the UFC 324 card. I think Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes are actually going to be a better fight than what Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett are going to display in the octagon in the main event of UFC 324. That's just me. But Kayla Harrison is a top 3 women's pound-for-pound fighter. Obviously now we have to say Valentina Shevchenko, 1, 2, Zhang Weili, 3, Kayla Harrison. She's got to be in your top 3. But she's fighting the greatest of all time in Amanda Nunes, the GOAT. And Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes actually have history with each other. Both actually trained together at American Top Team years and years ago. So they're familiar with each other's MMA styles as they train together. But it could be a fun fight. I think this will be a fun fight. I don't think this actually goes the distance. That's actually going to be my prediction. I don't have a winner, but I don't think this goes the distance. Will Amanda Nunes overcome the octagon rush? She has not been in the octagon for nearly 3 years, guys. She retired in the summer of 2023. That's a long time. Both are good grapplers. Both are good strikers. Kayla Harrison looks like an absolute badass. After making her debut against Holly Holm last year at UFC 300, she looks like an unstoppable force. We're going to see who can walk out of UFC 324 with that coveted bantamweight championship in the women's division. And the final fight I'll go over, Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Song Yadong versus Sean O'Malley at the bantamweight division. Now, Sean O'Malley, in my opinion, desperately needs a win here. He desperately needs a win because he's coming off his 2 straight losses for the bantamweight championship against Merab. Lost by decision, unanimous decision the first time, and then got submitted for the first time in his career during the summer against Merab. So this man is desperate for a victory. If I were Sean O'Malley, I would have honestly considered a move to featherweight because I don't see him being bantamweight champion again. Now, you can line him up if you're UFC. You did a good matchmaking here against a striker and Song Yadong. But if you have plans for Sean O'Malley to capture the title again, you're going to have to go through Merab or you're going to have to go through Umar. And I don't think he could defeat any of those guys. Good grapplers. They're always going to have his number because he's not good against grapplers. But again, I think this is match made for Sean O'Malley to bounce back. I don't have a winner because Song Yadong could give Sean O'Malley some problems in the striking department. But if you're a fan of striking, this could be your fight on the UFC 324 card because I'm pretty sure for the duration of the fight, this fight is going to be kept standing between Sean O'Malley and Song Yadong for 3 rounds on the UFC 324 card. But that is my early fight previews of the UFC 324 card.